changing our world through storytelling. Opportunities. Life became unbearable after Pampana's mother's shop was gutted down by fire. As if that was not enough, a week after, his father's fuel tanker skidded off the road and fell on some traders who plied their trade by the roadside on the Nkoko-Bunsu stretch, injuring several of them. Pampana's younger siblings dropped out of school because his parents could not afford it any longer. His parents decided to change Pampana's school, but later rescinded their decision because he was in his final year. Till they found a solution to their financial issue, his parents were not certain of Pampana's continuation to secondary school. Pampana was an average student who showed much interest in career technology. It was his dream to be an architect. Despite his parents' financial difficulty, it was his wish to continue his education. His mother's prayer was for God to send a Simon of Cyrene their way to help them carry their financial cross. Her greatest fear was her son's disrespectful attitude. Pampana was not used to speaking politely. His utterances were full of sarcasm. One of his mother's customers thought of bearing the cost of Pampana's education when he heard of their plight. Whenever he thought of placing a call to Antieno, Pampana's mother, he got interrupted by one event or another and then forgot. Alhaji Fatao happened to be in the vicinity where Pampana lived to inspect a building he wanted to buy. And he saw Antieno selling sachet and bottled water. She narrated how she lost her shop and what happened to her husband to Alhaji Fatao and told him they had relocated to an uncompleted building nearby. Alhaji Fatao wanted to see where they lived and Antieno walked him to the place. When they got there, Pampana had closed from school and was peeling cassava. Alhaji Fatao asked Pampana what he was doing. Pampana looked at him and said, "I'm riding a bicycle. You saw me peeling cassava and you are asking me what I'm doing." With a dropped jaw, Alhaji Fatao turned and said to Antieno, "I intended to bear the cost of your children's education. But with what I just heard, I'm sorry, I can't." He gave Antieno a 200 Ghana cedi note and walked away. Antieno followed Alhaji Fatao, crying and pleading to forgive his son and to rescind his decision. But his mind was made up. He walked back to where his car was parked and drove away. Business came to a halt that day for Antieno. She was broken. Pampana at that point regretted and wished he could turn back the hands of time. He knelt down to beg his mother. For 7 minutes, his mother kept staring at him without uttering a word. She had spoken to Pampana countless times about his utterances. She wept uncontrollably. That could have been an answered prayer, she said to herself, and asked Pampana to get out of her sight. Pampana continued begging. He held his mother's legs to prevent her from leaving. He cried and asked to be forgiven. Antieno paid her son no attention and asked to be left alone. She left the house not knowing where to go. Pampana went to sit under the palm tree and cried bitterly. What have I done? What on earth have I done to myself and my family? That was an opportunity for me to live my dream. I have learnt my lesson, he said to himself. For days, Pampana did not eat. He felt his world had come to an end. He resolved that that incident would be a cure to his oral diarrhea. He made conscious effort to change. Time went by and he wrote his final exam and passed well. When he went for his results, he recalled what he said to Alhaji Fatau. He did not sleep throughout the night. He heard that almost all his mates had gained admission to the second cycle institutions. Pampana prayed for another opportunity to come his way. It had been a year after his exams and he decided to find a job. He was given the chance to work with one commercial bus driver as a conductor. He had no choice but to manage that opportunity. On one Thursday afternoon, Pampana and his master had to transport some choristers from Jowlu to Tema. They got caught up in traffic, so they got to their destination almost at sunset. Pampana's master decided to take some rest. On their way back, his master had a call from one of his uncles to meet him at Ashaman, so he asked Pampana to go home. Pampana boarded an Accra-bound trotro and someone alighted at one of the bus stops on the motorway. He noticed a car parked with its hazard lights on. He felt that person might be in need of help. He alighted and got close to the vehicle and asked the man if he needed help. The man replied that he felt a sharp pain in his chest and was feeling dizzy. He tried calling his wife, but she wasn't answering. It was dark and was difficult to get help on the motorway at that time. Pampana did not know how to drive. He did not know what to do. The only one who came to mind was his master, but he knew he had an important meeting with his uncle. He decided to try. He placed the call to his master, who picked on the first ring. His master said his uncle called off the meeting because he had to attend to an emergency, and that he was on his way back. Pampana quickly asked if he could come to their aid. In no time, Pampana's master arrived, and when he saw the car, he said that was the owner of his vehicle. He drove them to the nearest hospital and had the man stabilized. Pampana stayed with the man throughout the night whilst his master went to get the man's wife. The man thanked Pampana and told him he looked familiar. Pampana said to him, "I'm Pampana Osei-Tutu. I live at Bauleshi." With the man's eyes closed, he said, "I'm Alhaji Fatau. Is Eno your mother?" Pampana responded, "Yes. Yes, please." Alhaji Fatau said, "I met you almost 2 years ago with your mother. I asked you what you were doing, and just then Pampana remembered. He went down on his knees and said, 'Alhaji, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.'" Alhaji Fatau said to Pampana, "Don't worry. I hope you've changed for the better." "I have, sir. I have," Pampana replied. "You saved me. Thank you for saving my life. What can I do for you?" Alhaji Fatau asked. "I want to go back to school, sir," Pampana responded. Alhaji Fatau promised to take care of him. When Alhaji regained his health, he enrolled Pampana in a private secondary school and set up a shop thrice bigger than that which his mother lost in the fire outbreak. My dear friends, many opportunities come our way, But sometimes our character drives those life-changing opportunities away from us. Let us learn to control our tongues. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Your comments are also appreciated. A story a day, changing our world through storytelling.